So, when the Manchester attack happened, I had some optimism about the state of what some people call cucking for Islam, but basically just Islamophilia, Islam apologism. I just was looking forward to that lessening up because if you've been a fan of my channel for any length of time, you know that I like to use the website Imager or Imgur or whatever the fuck you want to call it as a litmus test for how the regressive sentiment is going. Because generally, I would say the majority of the social population of that website is young, very, very left winging to left wing leaning to a regressive degree, and very highly pro feminist, which is mostly the opposite of what I hold politically. You know, I'm still left leaning, but liberal, and regressive is not liberal. So I was very impressed after the Manchester attack because so much comments were on posts about the Manchester attack that were very anti-Islam in getting upvotes. And I was like, I've never seen that before. Because you can't, in a regressive den, you can't criticize Islam without them immediately going fallaciously to, you can't say that about 1.66 billion Muslims. And I'm like, religion. The religion is not a person. It's not any amount of people. It's the religion. If you follow the religion dogmatically, you get these people who do these things like make pressure cooker nail bombs and attack civilians. Like, that's what the book tells you to do if you're on a jihad. Now, I know that there's parts of the book that says that there's like intellectual jihad and cultural jihad, but the war against the infidels says kill yourself and take as many of them with you, and you will go straight to heaven. If you interview any apprehended suicide bomber that is, not successful in committing suicide, they'll say, I am doing this because I want to go to heaven. And they're like, do you hate the West? And he's like, no, I'm martyring myself for Allah, so I go to heaven. And they're like, well, what about this foreign policy or this thing or fucking ISIS? And they're like, I get to go to martyr's paradise. That's why I did this. Every single one of them says the same thing because that's what they do it for. So it sucks when you can't criticize the religion without everybody going, you're racist. And I'm like, only maybe a third, actually probably more like a fourth of Muslims are Arab. The rest are Polynesian, Indonesian, South Asian, Southeast Asian, fucking African, even white, some of them, Egyptian, Coptic, which is not the same as black, so it never makes any sense, but they always go there because they're trained to do that as regressives. They just mimic and parrot bullshit buzzwords that don't accurately address the issue. But I was upbeat because they were so mad because this guy had the nerve to kill little kids and innocent parents at a fucking pop concert, and it was so senseless and so indefensible that people were starting to wake up. And then what? This week, some lunatic asshole starts threatening a pair of Muslim women, which is dumb, so fucking dumb, on a train with a knife. And a couple of people intervene, and this crazy lunatic racist, I don't know what the fuck his deal was, I haven't learned anything about the killer, stabs to death a 23-year Army veteran or a Marine veteran and another innocent person after they tried to defuse the situation. And it was just like, and the regressive counter-narrative comes straight back to Islamophilia and defending them, and, oh, anybody who criticizes Islam is a bigot. That's just... If there's any way that I can communicate to other people who, like me, hate Islam and hate it ferociously, and I am very often willing to go to the lengths that liberals won't and progressives won't. I am drastic, pretty much unconstitutional measures to handle this problem. There's a saying from Benjamin Franklin that goes that those who would trade freedom for security deserve neither. I hate that phrase because that phrase is stupid. Because it is true that there will always be authoritarians who will use security to take away your freedoms. However, if you're willing to just throw open the doors to the slavering wolves and put your arms out and say, "Come get me, I'm not interested in security," well, you don't understand security or liberty. You're suicidal. So I don't know exactly how to wrap this up in a nice, neat little bow and give you an answer. I'll definitely tell you that the answer is not a threatening random civilians. And keep in mind that one of the reasons why I hate Islam is because of how misogynist and oppressive to women it is. The real worldwide patriarchy is Islam, not Western society, but the feminists' favored religion of Islam. And Islam is more than happy to utilize feminism, social engineering, and racial protectionism, and minority protectionism to further its own sick and evil agenda. And has. The fucking stupid Women's March was founded and organized by Linda Sarsour, who is an Islamic extremist. Not the kind who kills people, but the kind who's like, pro-Sharia, anti-West, very fundamentalist. And nobody, everyone's like, "Ooh, I like women," and just they didn't even know that the image was a Muslim woman with a hijab, which is a form of religious impression of women colored up like an American flag. It's just, and how do you explain this to the average idiot anywhere? How do you explain to them how complex and obnoxious this issue is, that you can't just attack civilians? You should always attack the idea. I remind everybody who tries to criticize me or call me a racist or an Islamophobe or whatever, I am against Islam. I don't care about Muslims, except for the fact to say that you know who the greatest victim of Islam is? Muslims. Who do Islamic terrorists kill 9 out of 10 times, if not 99 out of 100 times? Other Muslims. They mostly kill each other because none of them think the other is the right kind of Muslim. Islam is cancer, inside and out. Okay, but it definitely doesn't pay to threaten random civilians on the street. That doesn't help. What helps is activism against the religion, and to always point out that every time somebody nail bombs a bunch of fucking kids, or blows up a hospital, or fucking tries to rocket Israel, or whatever they do, it's always because Islam is evil. And the only solution is to maybe reform, but more than likely just try to get people to realize that the religion is fucking horrific and they should leave. And the more and more we can get them to leave, the less and less the people who would murder them for leaving the religion will be able to get away with that. And the thing is, there's just been so many massacres in Europe, and so many. In the Islamophiles and the people who would protect Islam will just only get louder, and it's so frustrating because it seemed like there was a glimmer of hope that even some regressives were starting to realize how counterproductive protecting Islam is, and then just this senseless thing happened in Portland, which is just horrible. And yes, the 2 people who were stabbed to death are heroes, and yes, the Muslim women did not deserve in any way to be threatened by any fucking buddy. That's not the way to fix this. But I can't help but be selfish and just have this sigh of, God damn it, you fucked it up. You fucked it up. As selfish and as superficial and as dumb and arrogant as that is. That was just my response when I saw that. I was just, you fucked it up. Thanks for watching.